We're getting an exclusive look inside the homes of 3 of today's hottest celebrities and designers to see how urban design inspires their most favorite spaces.
Hey guys, I'm Benz, fashion designer, and you're here at my favorite place, my apartment in New York City. Let's go take a look inside.
After stints at Marc Jacobs and J. Crew, fashion designer Benz launched his own line in 2007. When he's not in the studio, you can find him hosting star-studded get-togethers at his chic Manhattan apartment.
There's a lot of the same themes between what I do in fashion and also for my home in terms of color and proportion and kind of this playful eccentricity, which is a common thread through all of my collections as well. I like a lot of graphic elements, and I think that's something really important when you're a man designing your living space and you want it to feel comfortable without feeling too feminine. So it's been about a lot of natural materials and metal and graphic color as opposed to prints or patterns and florals and things like that.
This 1,200 square foot, one-bedroom railroad-style apartment is full of eclectic items collected throughout the years. Each room flows into the next, starting with the living room and ending with the bedroom.
So this is the living room. My inspiration really for this room was, in the 20s when artists would have artist salons. They would talk about art and kind of lay around, and it's very kind of relaxing and rejuvenating at the same time. A lot of what I like to do is work off of this blue and green color palette. So for example, here I have these great shelves, and I just put all of my collections on those. These lamps are great. I love a little bit of brass for shine and interest, and we painted the walls this really neutral gray because the color really resonates off that. This is actually a working fireplace, but because there's only a certain amount of time that you can spend in your apartment with an open fire, I put a whole pile of pillar candles in and kind of light them all, and it creates this fireplace effect without actually having like a roaring fire. Living in a small apartment in New York City, obviously storage is always an issue. So I like to collect lots of things to put other things in. So I use a lot of vintage suitcases as both a design element and a functional storage piece. And there's a few of those pieces in the living room, but let me show you the rest of the apartment.
Next to the living room is the dining room.
So now we're in the dining room. I love it as sort of a reception area of the apartment, and I love the idea of like a gallery wall with all your pictures of friends and family and collected art, and it's also a really great way to change things out seasonally. So paint is where it's at. Not only is it for the walls, but also for the floors. And I brought in outdoor porch paint, and we just painted the wood floors in this apartment and brought this really great sophistication and drama to the interiors. Another thing that I love about this room is the giant table, which is sort of like the clearinghouse for the apartment. It serves a lot of purposes between being an actual great dining table for dinner parties. It's also a workspace. It's, Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Good to see you.
You too. What's going on?
This is my friend Johnny. We are a staple of the apartment.
Yes.
You're almost like a China doll tchotchke for this apartment.
Well, that's what I try to be everywhere.
I know. We're just doing a little house tour, so what are your favorite things about the apartment?
Well, hello, the ceiling. You don't see a ceiling like that anymore.
It's good.
The thing about your house that I love is that whenever anyone comes over, you feel right at home. You have your tchotchkes and your priceless artworks and everything, but you come over and you feel like, oh, I can sit down here. I can run around here. Tara can fall down over there, or Hanook can take a picture from over there of everybody. I mean, that's what's cool about it. It's just so open.
Absolutely.
I love coming here because Chris is such an entertainer and loves having the house full and using new flatware and new dishes and the whole thing. And I hate it. I hate people in my house. So I love coming over here just because it feels like, oh, I'm happy to have you here. Please have a drink. And that's not me at all.
Well, why don't you go hang out in the living room? I'm going to show them the rest of the apartment, and I'll come back and get you.
Fine.
A doorway to the right of the dining room is a small yet functional kitchen.
So this is my little kitchen. Like most New York City apartments, the kitchen is super small, and it actually doesn't even get that much use. So I thought this really needs to be a great design element. And when we tore everything out, it exposed this really great concrete wall in the back. So I bought enamel paints for like a model airplane or something. And we just did this kind of drippy paint on the backsplash. So that's the kitchen, and let me show you the best part of the apartment.
Two separate doorways from both the kitchen and dining room lead to the master bedroom.
So this is my bedroom. It's probably my most favorite room in the apartment, and it's really peaceful. It's always quiet. There's a great garden view, and it's really where I seek a little bit of refuge after a hard day of fashion. One of my favorite things in the apartment is this Calder tapestry that kind of commands the room. Another thing that I'm really happy about is the comfort of the bedroom, and I try to mix and match sheets and pillowcases and everything. Whether it's a striped duvet cover or mix and match colors of pillowcases, it adds this really casual ease to any bed. Well, thank you guys so much for coming. This is my favorite place. I have a guest waiting, so I gotta run.